Ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, welcome to a special tour of the arcade club in Bury, which I was here for NerdCon, an event a couple of weeks back, a very awesome one-day event, full of speeches and all the fun of the arcade club. And here's Brad Burton, who organised the whole arcade club. I mean, he does look at the moment like he's accosting me for coming into arcade club completely naked, but no, he's just welcoming me in. This is a new addition to the arcade club since the last time I was there. Even the ground floor's now filled with stuff. You've got classic machines, pool tables, all sorts of virtual reality. Plenty of stuff even before you even get up on the old school elevator and get into the arcade club proper. Such a fabulous place. Great to be back here. Last time I was here there was only 2 floors. Here's the awesome Twitch streamer Charlie Farr on a nice wee little Dutch angle. Great to meet him. There's the NerdCon schedule. Some absolute tit at 2:30. This is the first floor of the arcade. On the first floor of the arcade, you get a lot of modern machines. You get some of the bigger racing cabs. You get this massive Mission Impossible machine. I mean, heavens above. I hadn't seen that before. Bloody huge, that machine. Must have cost a flipping fortune. Weird bumblebee thing. This is also where you get your console gaming. There's all sorts of console machines, modern console machines that is, all lined up, all networked together. Nice bit of Pac-Man. 4 Outrun 2 cabinets. What a glorious sight. One of the few cabinets I guess I can say are also in Southend, but we certainly don't have 4 of them. Some big tank thing. Obviously you've got air hockey, you've got the basketball game, shoot some hoops, do some skee ball, a big old centipede machine. One of the glorious things about Arcade Club is that it really does feature the best of modern arcade gaming, as well as a lot of the old school stuff, and some stuff you may never have thought existed. Who'd have thought there'd be a Cooking Mama arcade machine? Apparently there is a Cooking Mama arcade machine. And yes, lots of people are here at NerdCon enjoying the day. Again, as I said, everyone seemed to have a hell of a lot of fun in the event, and as far as a first NerdCon event goes, it was a very special time. Speaking of special, here's something you've probably not seen, I've certainly not seen it. Judge Dredd arcade machine. Now this, I was speaking to one of the arcade club staff, this is a prototype that they've kind of managed to put together. I mean, who'd have thought you'd see Gremlin Interactive on an arcade? This is the same game as the not very good PS1 rail shooter. And yeah, they've kind of put that together, so that's pretty much one of a kind, I think. Turtles in Time, can't go on with that. Absolute classic. Perhaps there wasn't enough space for it on the top floor. But yes, a Judge Dredd arcade machine. I think this is a very recent addition to the arcade club, something that they've managed to, yeah, Frankenstein together, really. Absolutely amazing to see, even if the game itself is, not very good. House of the Dead Scarlet Dawn, played a little bit of that, fine enough. Not as good as the classics, which we will be seeing. And again, this Mission Impossible arcade machine, I mean, heavens. What a sight. Didn't actually get a chance to play on the game. As you can imagine, something as impressive as that usually has people on it. And there's even room for some of the classics here on this modern floor. There's always space for Tempest, and of course, there is always space for Pac-Man. I mean, Pac-Man is awesome, of course, but yes, there are certainly many other arcade machines that are perhaps more of intrigue as you go through the space. Daytona! Have to say, I did have to have a bit of a go on the old virtual tennis. Now here's the second floor. This is one of the lovely bits on the second floor. You get a nice couple of rows of candy cabs. Sit down, get on the old Blast City. Lots of bullet hell shooters here, lots of little fighting games, lots of things of intrigue. Old school shooters as well as bullet curtain type stuff, and even a space for Puzzle-O Poco that you can see here. Puzzle-O Poco, I'm sure you're familiar with if you've ever watched the ant streams of, say, Tristabytes, or indeed myself when I was doing that. It's the game where you have to try and stop a poor cat from drowning, and you ultimately fail. The second floor tends to be filled with a lot of the stranger machines. There's a lot of Japanese imports here. You see that washing machine there, that's an arcade machine. There's lots of rhythm games here, lots of taiko drum stuff. There's Super Monkey Ball. There's a very weird cube type thing. A lot of it is all very rhythm games. And of course you get some traditional stuff like Guitar Hero and that as well. And of course the pinball, which we'll be seeing a bit. And this was the main bit of the NerdCon. This is where all the speeches took place. This was where all the panels were, the gaming challenges, and of course a few exhibitors, such as Wave Studios, who are there with some of the usual awesome games that they produce, like Flea, the version of Postal for the Dreamcast, all sorts of good stuff like that. And of course you've got some of your classic fighting games here, your modern classics, your Tekken 7s and all that, your Dead or Alive 5. But the pinball offering at Arcade Club is also not to be sniffed at. Some real classic tables here. You've got your Addams Family, you've got your Bram Stoker's Dracula that you can see there, as well as some not necessarily licensed stuff. Not really sure what this is. Bit of Bishi Bashi. Some of these games, they do might take a little bit of while to actually get to grips with, but once you do, yeah, they can certainly be quite fun. Even the one that looks like a washing machine. Now, this is probably what you're definitely interested in. This is the top floor. The glorious top floor of the Arcade Club. Retro games out the wazoo. Many absolute favourites, of course. I mean, there's just a little peek at my all-time favourite arcade, WrestleFest. But, I mean, the games here speak for themselves. Oh dear, there's me. There's me, you can see me in reflection just gormlessly walking and filming and creating content. Try not to pay attention to that, just pay attention to the likes of Football Champ and Super Sprint here. Of course, The Simpsons, another favourite, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. So yeah, there's lots of cabs that you've probably seen, at least in your childhood here, but others that you don't necessarily see much at all. Things like this awesome Hot Rod machine, or a Ninja Warriors Triple Screen Fest that you can just see in the background there. So yeah, there are certainly some difficult to find uncommon titles in here. Uncommon and unpopular perhaps, but certainly also good. So that's why next to Crazy Taxi you've got Mechanized Attack and then Operation Wolf 3. The not very good Operation Wolf sequel, the one with the digitised sprites and all that. That's like a BTEC Lethal Enforcers. But again, good to play. Real Ghostbusters. I mean, there's a lot of cabs here that I certainly never saw back in the day when I was going to arcades, along with your favourites like Smash TV, which is, of course, always good fun. There was also a Gallagher Gaming Challenge to be had a look at as well. Oh, naturally, I never got even close to getting the high score on that one. And of course, you know, on the top floor you do have vintage music of a sort. There's a bit of Human League. Thankfully, I'm talking over this so you don't have to hear me awkwardly singing along to it as I'm doing my filming on the soundtrack. Bit of Tuban. And they keep all these arcade machines in such great condition. They're all original. You know, you can tell by the screens, really. You can tell that these are proper CRT screens, you know. These aren't like put together machines. Silent Scope, a game that I hadn't played in a while. Great to get my eye back into that. Golly Ghost as well. Even like this is a sort of place where even a game that's not necessarily good, like Final Blow, which we just saw a peek of there, becomes awesome just for all the stuff that's around it. I mean, games like Strider, for example, or Zybots, or T2 Judgment Day. And yeah, obviously some of these cabs I am familiar with from my days of old. But then you have stuff like WWF WrestleMania, which we're about to see in a minute. I mean, I played a lot of lists on the Mega Drive, but I don't recall ever actually seeing this in an arcade. So it's nice to actually properly see the cab and the big old picture of vintage, new generation Undertaker on the front, blue gloves and everything. Ah, the good old days. So many awesome cabinets. I mean, Bad Dudes, there's another one. Bad Dudes was another one I used to play an awful lot. Still do, really. You can't beat a cheesy bit of action where you have to rescue old Ronnie, can ya? And the end goal is to go for a burger and you end up facing Karnov. One of my favourites. Vendetta as well is here. Proper Vendetta cab, 4-player cab. A lot of times it seems like it feels like they really do strive to get the best version of every cab. I mean, look, perfect example. 6-player X-Men. What a beautiful thing this is. Huge cabinet. Absolutely huge. Big, proper early 90s. Angular. Ah, you gotta love it, haven't you? Outrunner's also here in proper hydraulic mode. House of the Dead 2, a game that I've had lots of very fond memories of, particularly from Spain, where I used to play that game endlessly. And of course, you got a corner with racing cabinets. There tends to be a theme of things, like you got your racing corner, you got your shooting corner, you got your classics corner. And so here in the racing bit, you've got hard driving. Perhaps not the, the most almighty cab, but God knows if even any of those are around. Chase HQ2, I didn't even know this existed. I thought Chase HQ series kind of ended with Lucky and Wild, but nope, Chase HQ2 is there. Here is the aforementioned out one in its most glorious of forms. Obviously, game that doesn't exactly need much of an introduction, but it's always fun to see it again, isn't it? Same with Ridge Racer, same with Crazy Taxi, Time Pilot 84. They have the original really good Time Pilot, and they also have the not super good sequel. And also, again, some strange things like Monkey Mole Panic, Stun Runner. Again, this is a game that I've never actually seen an arcade of. I mean, I last went to the arcade club good few years ago now. About 4 years ago now, I was last here. It's been way too long. And again, as I said, when I was here the first time, there were just 2 floors. Now there's 4 floors, not to mention the setup in Leeds and the new setup that they've opened in Blackpool, which I will hopefully be finding time to see in a couple of weeks. You got old Wreck Le Mans. Obviously, you've got a Neo Geo cab, because what old arcade isn't complete without a Neo Geo cab? And yeah, generally, I mean, this first wall in particular, kind of the first thing you see, is literally a wall filled with all my favourite cabinets. Arkanoid, Football Champ, Rainbow Islands, Renegade. You got TMNT there, or TMHT I suppose you should call that. And obviously games like Robocop, WrestleFest and Golden Axe. So many games, just everywhere you look, there's another legendary cab. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even notice that Alien Syndrome was there the first time through. You know what I mean? You could get lost in here. You could easily spend a day in here. You can go to a session at the arcade club, and do like a 4-hour session or however long, and immediately think, geez, I wanna immediately just pay for another. Is there a slot in the next session? I'm just gonna stick around here. Actually, can I just live here? Can I just, stick myself on a chair, stick myself, and just stay here, for like a weekend? Would be fun, wouldn't it? Maybe they should open up an arcade club hotel. It would be better than the Norbert Castle, I'm sure. Even the dining areas have arcade machines. Even the dining area has a chance to do some ice-cold beer. And yes, panels. Awesome panels at the arcade club. Brad Burton, what a great host. Former Games Master alumni, former Games Reviewer, and now awesome motivational speaker. There are great panels. Gary Bracey, Jim Bagley. Absolutely fantastic value. And yes, Gary Bracey. Gary Bracey was here. I got a chance to meet Gary Bracey. You'll even see a picture of that in a minute. Here's some more of the awesome pinball. I love seeing pinball machines. I'm absolutely rubbish at pinball, but I love seeing them. I love the mechanics of a pinball table, especially an old school one. It's just a beautiful thing to see working. And these cubes are just a weird sight. But yeah, there were some awesome pictures as well. Pictures that you can find if you go to the NerdCon account, if you go to Brad Burton's account. There he is in full flow. Audience in the palm of his hands, it has to be said. Many thanks to these guys. Many thanks to Brad. Many thanks to the middle-aged gamer guy as well. Really great organisation. Wonderful event. Wonderful time. And I do have to say as well, what an absolute honour it was to have a chat with Gary Bracey. I mean, what a legend. I mean, obviously I've done so much Ocean content, and it was amazing to think that Gary Bracey has actually watched a lot of it. So, yeah, no, it was a truly wonderful day at Arcade Club, and I can only thank Brad and everyone who organised the event for such a wonderful time. And I look forward to the next one. Hopefully it's not too long away. So thank you for watching this little Arcade Club vlog. If you haven't been to the Arcade Club yet, you must do so. You must get up there. If you like arcade gaming, it's got to be done. Just, make the most of stuff like that while it's still here. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and as ever I shall say, bye for now.